All right, I think we're live. We're all good. Got it going on. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Den. We have a really exciting podcast to talk about today. We're talking about the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, the first movie that we've gotten in what? It's 7 years, something like that. Rise of Skywalker came out in
2019.
2019, so appreciate you guys for joining us and hanging out with the Den. Make sure to smash that like and subscribe button, or just hang out and kick it if you want to. It's all good too. I have the usual suspects with me today. Percy, you weren't on the mall. For some reason, you couldn't make the mall one, right?
No, I was.
You were?
He
Am
was
I
on it.
tripping? Okay, I just have
Yeah, man.
dementia and I'm special. So we'll edit that out in post. Not really, but we'll
No, you're
edit.
fine.
But I got the usual suspects with me today, and we're gonna just really hop right into it, guys. If you guys are down. So I kind of want to get a vibe of. I think I know how most of you guys are feeling, but I'd like to get the vibe with a rating of what you thought the movie was. Now, Charlie, I know you don't give ratings typically, so that's fine if you want to abstain or just give your little like what you thought in a quick synopsis. But I'll go off and start off by saying, honestly, for me, I think it's like a I don't know. I would say like a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. I feel like I'm kind of teetering, maybe 5.5, somewhere up in there, for the movie rating. But let's Charlie, you're actually first. So if you just want to, you don't have to, again, don't have to give your rating because I know you don't like giving ratings, but just kind of maybe a loose idea of what you thought about it. We're gonna go into all the details as we go on, but
Hmm.
what's the
Rating?
vibe?
Not
What's
watch-
what's the vibe you're feeling?
I'm feeling really. Um, it's a rating of I won't watch it.
Gotcha. So to speak.
Hmm.
Percy, what about you, man? You're next on the docket.
7.7 out of 10.
Oh, okay. I feel like that was good. Honestly, I was expecting it to be a little higher, but 7.7 is pretty good. I like that. Sarah, what about you?
For me, it's a 6 out of 10.
Six. All right. And Eric, what about you, man?
Same, 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. I don't know. I felt like I don't know. I thought Percy and Eric. I don't know why. I thought you guys would have placed it a little higher. If you were to ask me to back that up with facts of why I thought that, could not tell you. But I felt like it was going to be a little higher for you guys. But yeah. I don't. To start off, like I don't know if you guys feel this way, but like I was kind of bummed not seeing like an opening crawl, like kind of getting like this that like that whatever that slow fade in and then it gives you like a paragraph of kind of like what's going on. Like I think that works really well for the TV shows, right? But I feel like for the movies, like I love Rogue One. I still thought that was weird that we didn't get like a crawl for Rogue One. It was that same kind of
Hmm.
flash kind of in with the paragraph. How do you guys feel about that? Do you guys not care as much, or do you think there should have been more of a crawl? Because like I feel like you could have totally fit what was. It would have been a shorter crawl, but you still could have fit it.
I am used to the new just couple paragraphs, like they do it in Ahsoka, they do it
Oh yeah,
in,
in all the shows.
like you said,
Yeah.
Rogue One, and they've done it now in this. But I do miss the jump scare Star
Dun, dun, dun,
Wars theme. I
dun. Yeah.
miss the jump scare Star Wars theme, but other than that, I like the opening crawl does not really affect me that much. It's
Yeah.
it's nostalgic, but I don't think there's anything wrong with kind of like leaving that as part of the Skywalker saga kind of thing.
I got you. Uh, Anybody else want to go?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
I
different.
mean, it was definitely different. It didn't bother me that much. Like Percy said, I missed the jump scare
Yeah.
of that title crawl just coming up because nothing just hits nostalgia than hearing the classic Star Wars tune all over again. But I feel like that kind of fits. It's weird because I'm like fumbling with it because it's like, oh well, this is like, the Mandalorian and Grogu story and it's the show, but they promoted this as like, well, it's the next big Star Wars movie, so you would think in that retrospect that they would do the classic title crawl again, but I feel like because this is kind of a unique and different project, while it is set in the Star Wars universe, it almost kind of has its own thing going, so it doesn't kind of need to connect to that opening crawl
Yeah,
factor.
it's more of a
I
standalone.
Yeah, it's more of a standalone, and I feel like the opening crawl is for a really special story.
For
Like
sure.
I feel like that one would have to revolve more around like even the Jedi. I feel
Like
like
a
it's almost like
galactic-sized
yeah,
event,
like
or
yes, exactly,
that makes
exactly.
sense.
No, I agree. I agree 100%. You pretty much nailed it on the head. The words I was trying to search for.
Eric, Charlie, what are you guys' thoughts on not having an opening crawl?
It was just, it's
I,
just weird.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
yeah, the Rogue One thing. Like the standalones have really got me good as far as like in a good, really good way.
yeah.
Because I remember whenever Rogue One happened, being in theaters, like, okay, so, oh God, and everything like that, and then bam, you're into it. But and yeah, even Solo, they had like a little thing, but this kind of
Did Solo not have a crawl? I don't remember.
no,
Solo was also kind of the fade
Kind
in
of
with like the paragraph.
it just did its own little thing. And,
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah,
straight
I think
to
I
the
remember now.
point.
There's like it's a lawless time, or whatever the intro. Okay, gotcha. Sorry, continue.
No worries. And just I don't know, like for a Star Wars movie, it was very weird seeing like the stuff of like the cast and stuff like that.
Oh, within the intro when they're showing like the
Yeah,
the
I don't know,
base.
it was weird.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Honestly, I
but
didn't
they,
actually mind that part. Sorry, and I know I'm interrupting you a lot, but I didn't mind. I wanted the opening crawl, but I kind of liked the echo base kind of like, or not echo base. I don't even know what planet is that on. Whatever base that planet's on.
It's a Delphi base.
At Delphi,
I
thank
forgot
you.
what planet. I forgot what planet it's on though. But you see it in
Like the base with
season.
the bar.
Sorry,
Yeah,
was
it's
it?
got like that Vietnam like esque look to it.
Yeah. But no,
Yeah.
I kind of like that. But sorry, Charlie, I totally derailed what you were saying. My bad.
you're good. You're good. Just the point for me was just felt like a yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed seeing that kind of.
Yeah.
But it was just like
It's
all right,
different.
this is cool, but I missed the.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, cool, sure, whatever, man. Let's do this.
Yeah, and honestly too, like now that I'm thinking about it, well, I don't think Solo has a ship coming, but most of the Star Wars movies start with like a ship kind of passing over, and this one doesn't. Like it kind of, I don't remember if it starts with the X-wings and the sun in the background. I can't remember what exactly it was, but it wasn't the kind of like the pan over with the ship. I don't think Solo does it now that I'm thinking about it. I think it starts with him like
Yeah, it was
starting
the Apocalypse Now scene, like with the
Amelia Clark
X-Wings.
on the run.
yeah. But
Oh, Kira.
But yeah, Eric, what about you, man? How did you feel kind of about I guess I should have incorporated. Charlie brought up a good point with like the base and the actors' names showing at the beginning of the movie instead of showing it like the end. How did you feel about like the crawl and like that kind of intro?
I anticipated there not being a crawl just because of it being part of the TV show.
Yeah, for sure.
To me, I think it works because it's Mando and Grogu. It's not a Skywalker
Yeah,
film. So typically all the Skywalker films will have that. Obviously, we'll see what happens in the Starfighter movie that comes out next year if they're going to do an opening crawl.
for sure.
But I anticipated that. It didn't bother me one whatsoever. I love the fact what they did with the actors like that in the beginning, especially, and I think they also put them up towards the beginning, which you got to give credit where credit's due, man. Sorry, Pedro, but you're not getting on the spotlight on this one. But Lateef and Brendan Wayne, man,
Oh, yeah.
they are the people that make The Mandalorian, not Pedro.
That's one of my pluses.
Just the voice, but it's them because it's a gunslinger movie.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. It was so cool to see that, and it felt like it was also like Top Gun to me when they're like flying and you got like the sunset and whatnot too.
Highway
Obviously,
to
you know,
the
I've
danger
got
zone.
a whole kit
Yeah.
based on the Delphi right there. So that's
Definitely.
actually like made out of metal.
Yeah,
I looked it up. It's actually I should have known this, but it's the planet's called the Delphi. So it makes
Gotcha.
it easy to remember.
Ah,
But I thought that was cool to see how everyone introduced or maybe how they introduced all the actors that were going to be in there. Obviously, another big name was Sigourney Weaver, and that was interesting to see her too in the movie.
Yeah.
And I might have got a little earlier on about talking about that, but I think it was really cool. And just the little brief paragraph, I think that was all was needed. But I'll just keep it there for right now because I got a lot more to talk about.
Yeah, I know
later on.
it's hard to
But,
get like you start
yeah.
getting excited and getting ramped up. Like I always say, like, oh, I can feel my my enthusiasm getting it. But yeah, with that scene of the intro, I will say one thing about the B-wing finally getting some love. I feel like we never see any freaking B-wings. They're always in the back. I guess technically this was still in the background, but I caught a glimpse of it like in one shot. There's like you can see like the windshield, I guess, of the B-wing. I was like, oh man, that's cool. Like they added like a little snippet, and then like literally the next scene, it's like the entire shot of the B-wing. And like for those who don't know, like that's like one of my favorite ships in Star Wars. So I'm always glad when it gets some love. You know, we get
when
A-wings,
Harrison Dula is like the big B-wing pilot in Rebels.
Oh, and that one was cool because it's like
it
a
was like the
a blood
prototype
orange.
B-wing one,
Yeah, that one
With
was
that crazy laser.
yeah, that one was.
You see it in obviously the 6th movie, and then of course you definitely see it in action in Skeleton Crew. I don't know if y'all remember that towards the end.
Oh,
They
yeah.
had two B-wings there. I
Right,
think.
you're right. Yeah. Dude, it's
But yeah, they
I
don't
only
shine
watched
too much of a
Skeleton Crew
light on
once, so I don't really remember off the top of my head. But that sounds familiar because I remember like the laser. But man, yeah, anytime we get some B-wing action, I feel like it's always like X-wings and Y-wings and A-wings, but I feel like when we get some B-wing action, I like it because like that was supposed to be like the big like competitor to Thrawn's like the the Tri Intercept. I forget what that one's actually called, but
It's the TIE Interceptor.
well, it's like
TIE Advance. TIE Advance is Darth Vader's ship.
Okay.
I thought the Interceptor was like I thought this was like a new. Maybe I'm just tripping. I don't know the names all that well, but yeah, that's
I think it has a couple names because it comes from like video games and stuff too.
Right. Yeah, no, it's
like 3-winged.
yeah,
ship.
that shoots the laser.
I'm looking up on this video game right now that I have.
I have it at Jedi. It's in this one of the Starfighter games.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There are enemies in that.
Yeah, Starfighter has like all those Rogue Squadron and Starfighter games. Like they always have like all the ships, even if they're like seen for like 2 seconds, which is cool. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to before we get into the stuff that we like really enjoyed about like the Mandalorian and Grogu, I kind of want to do I guess go to what you would consider like Negativeville a little bit because I want to kind of express the way that I'm feeling because like I'm kind of conflicted, and I want to see what you guys think and how you guys feel about it. But like my initial reaction was like, oh man, like I could have like saved my $20 and like not gone and see this movie like after I watched it. And then I went and saw it a second time because like I'm a firm believer in like if you're on the fence about a movie or like you need like more analysis, like go see it a second time. Usually a lot of movies like you can get a good feel by the second showing, and I did end up liking it a lot better in the second time. But like I don't know, like I didn't get the feeling we all felt after watching Maul and the hype that we felt. Like I didn't get that from this movie. Like I didn't feel like that Star Wars fan excited. I just felt like, oh, that was it. It was fun, sort of thing. I know a lot of people were comparing it to kind of how they felt after Solo. I mean, in my camp, I think Solo is a better movie than Mando, but I've seen it on the internet a lot being compared to like how Solo is just a little bit more of a fun movie and stuff like that. But I think the big thing for me is that I don't think the stakes were high enough. And I don't mean by the stakes weren't high enough that like, oh, it needs to be attached to like the Skywalker saga or like Luke needs to show up or like there needs to be Jedi or lightsabers. I just mean like, I think there should have been something more than just the Hutts. And I think the reason why the Hutts bother me so much is because they made such a big stink about it for those who did see Boba Fett of like Boba couldn't kill the Hutts before they like backed out and like were like, hey, we don't want anything to do with Tatooine. Fennec was like, oh, you're gonna have to like go get permission and like work your way up the ladder in order to like take him out. And then in the Mando movie, it just seems like it's okay because it's Mando. You know, he's badass. He just does what he wants. You know, and I just felt like the Hutts weren't a big enough stake, which is also weird because I feel like I don't know about where their positioning in the galaxy as of right now after Jabba dies, but like the Hutts are like one of the biggest, if not the biggest, crime syndicate in Star Wars, and they're like feared.
And they control a big swath of the galaxy too.
Exactly. And you think that if that's what the story is based off of, which I feel like, you know, yes, it is a part of about the Imperials too, but if it's about the Hutts, like it would have some grander scale than just like, I know I'm skipping to the end, but them getting like basically done in by the serpent dragon at the end. Like it just didn't feel to me like there was like, I don't agree with it, but I understand where they were coming from. I don't know if you guys watched it with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, where they're sitting down in the interview and talking about like kind of how the movie came to be and stuff like that. But essentially, they were like, okay, we need a movie, and we would like it to we need a movie out. We haven't had a movie in 7 years. We want a movie out, and we would like it to be The Mandalorian and Grogu. Like, can you get that done? Talking to Jon Favreau, and what they had apparently at the time couldn't be fit into a movie, which I also thought was kind of weird because like to me this movie kind of feels like, you know, 6 or 7 episodes of Mando just squeezed into a movie. But like he was like, oh yeah, so we wanted to make it to where it could bring in as many new people as possible, so like we didn't want it to tie into anything or go too deep for people who haven't seen like all the TV shows and all the stuff. And I'm like, I feel like when he said that, I was like, that's just the wrong move. Like I don't know if John's been really being rushed on stuff, but I feel like a lot of the decisions he's made since Mando season 2 have just felt wrong to me. Like I didn't like the direction he took Boba Fett. I didn't like Mando season. There was some good stuff in Mando season 3, but overall I didn't really care for Mando season 3. And then I thought the Mandalorian and Grogu movie was just okay. And after 7 years of not having a Star Wars movie, I don't know. I feel like it should be a little bit more than just, oh, it was fun. You know, like we haven't had something in 7 years, and this is what you're kind of going to bring to the table when the fandom's already a little shaky. I don't know. To me, it didn't land as hard as it should, and I didn't get it. While I enjoyed it a lot, and I did go see it twice, I felt like it just didn't hold up to like what I feel like a Star Wars movie should be. And maybe that's just me as a fan getting older, and they're trying to appease to like a newer audience. I can't really speak to that, but like, yeah, I don't know. It just didn't sit right with me. But enough of me ranting. I wanted to kind of get that out because that's been on my mind a lot. Just like really conflicting feeling where I enjoyed the movie, but it still kind of left me to where I'm like, I want way more than like what you're giving me. Like this isn't enough. It's not on the grand scale of a Star Wars movie. Like when I go to a Star Wars movie, I want to be wowed. I don't want to just feel like I watched, 7 episodes of The Mandalorian scrunched together in one kind of like movie with some episodic vibes to it. But I would love to hear kind of what you guys have to say. And Charlie, we'll go again with you first because you're first on the docket. Kind of what you maybe either thoughts about what I said or like your thoughts on just the movie as a whole.
Well, I remember when we were in Japan, so please correct me if I'm wrong. This is the very last thing that we got that we know about that's even coming out because Ahsoka season 2 got pushed back.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I remember us doing the FET photo op, staying near there, trying to get copies there, and I remember whenever they bought Sigourney Weaver and Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni and everything. I'm like, holy crap, is that Ripley?
Yeah.
And everything.
Yeah. When I went to that panel, everybody lost their mind when she came out. Everyone's like, Sigourney Weaver, like, let's go! Like it was super crazy, you know.
I had the biggest crush on her back in the days. What? Anyways, the point is, no, like, I was just like, oh, that was cool. Wait, they're turned to a movie? Okay, cool. Then again, we were like, running at the same time to get the lines and stuff. The Madness and Greatness.
Oh yeah, the Madness of the Con.
Oh God, I loved it so much. How's it been here? Man, again, okay, I will preface this in saying, for those that enjoy it, this and everything like that, I will never, I refuse to be one of those people. I will never say, "You're wrong, you idiot," or something
Yeah, you don't want
like
to steal
that.
somebody's excitement
Enjoy,
or thunder. Yeah,
or something.
for sure.
That's beyond stupid.
Well, I think we at the den, a collective we, because you guys are a part of the den too. I think we're very good about, like, we can still disagree and still be friends. Like, you don't have to be wrong for feeling the way. Like, if somebody said that this was the best Star Wars movie ever, like, while I don't agree with that, I wouldn't, like you're saying, I wouldn't tell them that they're wrong or something like that. I feel like we've cultivated that a lot here with our friend group and how we convey the messages. So I appreciate you saying that and kind of reaffirming that.
Yeah, you I have checked out. But, yeah, just I was like, no, I'm not being one.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair.
So I just, man, I always love Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau and anything they do. I mean, for God's sakes, they gave us Mandalorian. Remember when the series came out in 2019 before the apocalypse happened?
Oh yeah, season 1 and 2 were amazing.
What
Yeah,
is this?
phenomenal.
A live action Star Wars thing that couldn't fly. Oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Just, but I don't know if they should have, if this should have been I'm not saying per se. I just think this is a weird thing to take from a television show and make this a movie,
Yeah.
instead of just something else, because this just felt weird. In between the chaos of my more dislikes than likes about this whole thing, I found myself after, I guess 3 years, for like all the seasons, waiting for like either a cut or like a pan away or something like that, because I'd seen the Mandalorian and everything like that, the show, because I was used to that, and stuff never happened. I was like, okay, that's weird. Yeah, I am learning not too recently that the hut in question was the one from the Clone Wars that Ahsoka and Anakin rescued.
100%.
From that is crazy to me.
Stinky.
Yeah,
It's stinky.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I can start with what I did and really enjoy, if I can give you that real fast.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I loved the opening of this movie. As far as, I always look for fight scenes and everything. Fight choreograph, that's my thing. I've been doing that many moons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Many moons. God help me. But whoever did, either if it was Lateef Crowler or whoever, give them a damn award, because that opening inside and that one Imperial, just like, huh, and everything like that. And meanwhile, just go out there and fight. Go, man.
Yeah.
What? I'm literally just sitting here, man. Come on. And meanwhile, just cut back to that. Sets a dude on fire. Sets the other dude on fire. I'm just like, this is cool.
Very John Wick meets Batman vibes, for sure.
I was very happy with that.
Yeah, yeah.
And because I know that's not easy to do, especially with like a helmet, for God's sake.
Well, and the speed in which they're doing it, like, that's like the one thing that I think about that scene is, like, I think the scene from start to finish, when he starts to enter the base to where when that dude blows up and they escape, I felt like it was so fast, which was great for the action, but also it's like it feels like you kind of blink and you miss it almost, sort of, because everything happens so quick. But it was cool. It gave me kind of Phantom Menace vibes when like Ewan and Rey were like practicing the sabers and they had like slow it down. It gave me kind of that speed kind of vibes, but just with blasters, which was cool.
Yeah. But I loved that so much. I really did. Let's see. Yeah, that. I enjoyed. Well, after that, then I'll just get back and everybody else can say their thing. But I always enjoy a good gladiator thing.
Yeah, that was cool, for sure.
I see what they were trying to do. They did do one good one for me. The Retriaris, the spear and the net. That was actual style. They tried to do a Milo and Dimagaris. No. I don't know if it's a hut trying to do a Milo, which is supposed to be a shield and a regular gladius, or Dimagaris, two swords, or whatever he was trying to do, but just no, just don't do that. Please don't ever do that. Yeah, no. So I'll give that. There are many other things to go around, but there's my answer when it comes to that. I'm sure more stuff will come along, but
Yeah.
Take it away, good sir.
Okay, well, we can if you said your piece, then Percy, we can kind of move on to you about like maybe some of your likes and dislikes about the overarching, I guess, movie. You know.
Yeah. So I think it's funny that something happened twice that hasn't happened in any other Star Wars movies, but a Star Wars movie, based on a TV show,
Yeah.
became a story about saving Jabba the Hutt's son
Yeah.
twice.
You're right. Yeah. One in
And,
animated
it's just
form.
crazy that happened. I don't think I like or dislike that fact. I just think
It's interesting that it happened.
like
Or what it's like.
weird
It's
that-
weird that it happened
weird
twice.
that we're like, what a weird throwback way to do this.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Arguably, for
And,
me, like I think Rhoda is my favorite part of the movie. Like I really liked like all the scenes and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
feel like he stole kind of the movie a little bit.
His character's pretty fun. I like. I'm worried like, what are they even gonna do with him? Like what happened at the end. It's kind of like Zeb's like. Actually, I think Din seemed a little speciesist. He's like, you're not gonna fit in around here. And then Zeb's like, bro, I think I got a suit that'll fit you. Come on, let's go have a beer.
Bro, he's just gonna be freaking what's that skit? It's like fat guy in a little coat.
Yeah,
He's just gonna be in it.
Is he just gonna be hanging out with John or Dave Filoni and the other
From
directors?
Doug Chang and Deborah Chow, like all of them. Yeah. All right, cool.
Wow, yeah, but throw me on the spot to find something I really liked. Like
Or
did
dislike
this-
if you like. I feel like dislike kind of comes naturally to Star Wars fans because there's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff we agree and disagree on. But yeah,
I think. Oh,
either.
I know. One of the big things I really liked about this movie was, and it was kind of not really blink and you miss it, but it only lasted like a minute or two, and that's this chase scene where Rada's trying to get away from Mando and Grogu or whatever, like near the start
Too
of the
Fast,
movie
Too
after
Furious?
the gladiator fight. You kind of think, oh yeah, like he's gonna go with Mando, and then he's like, no, screw you guys, like I'm getting out of here.
yeah.
And then I believe it is 109,000%. That is them making up for the chase scene in the Book of Boba Fett, also written by Jon Favreau.
Yeah. Where they're going like 2 mile an hour on those
If you
skittle
compare
bikes.
these two chase scenes together,
Yeah.
you would like not even think it's in the same universe. Not
yeah,
at all.
for sure.
And another thing I liked about the movie is a lot of people are comparing it to the TV show, which, no duh, but I think like the budget or like the visuals in this one are like way better than any of the seasons we've had. Like deepfake Luke is a frickin' nightmare. Like there's so many weird things. Like a lot of stuff. Even in the I love the Ahsoka show. I'm one of the Ahsoka defenders, but a lot of the shows, even the ones I really like, they have the volume syndrome where you can tell they're just kind of they're in a void. Like it's that scene in The Matrix where Morpheus brings Neo into that big white room and then all the guns come flying by.
yeah.
That's what I picture a lot of scenes when they're filmed in the volume. But I think they it's a technique that they're still getting better with.
Yeah.
And there are some scenes in Ahsoka too that where I know it's on the volume, but I know that scene was really cool. Like the scenes where they're fighting Marok in the forest and all those trees in the forest and that had a real sense of depth. But I feel like a lot of time with the volume it kind of
Yeah, they were
You
trying to
can
find their
kinda tell.
footing with it, especially in the earlier seasons when they're using it for sure.
But if you told me that I don't know, maybe the arena scene might be the obvious volume scene in this movie, but I couldn't tell you what the obvious volume scene would be in this movie. And I think just the you know, we don't get any nightmare deep fakes. Zeb looked freaking fantastic.
yeah.
Martin Scorsese's character looks fantastic. And I think he acted really well in that part, which is kind of funny. Like, you know, famous Shark Tale actor Martin Scorsese. I don't know what else he's known for, but he's pretty cool.
Well, I just feel like it's funny seeing him in Star Wars when he like literally crapped on Star Wars and Marvel for like being like just like mass produced like junk or whatever. Whatever he said, I'm paraphrasing, but like, and then he's like in Star Wars. I'm like, bro,
Yeah,
you
I
literally
think he
just said it was.
ripping on Marvel.
Oh, was it
one.
Marvel? Okay, I didn't know if it was
Yeah.
Marvel and Star Wars. Like, bro, you literally just got done saying that all this stuff is gobbledygook and just like mass produced, and then you're like sitting here being like an actor in one of them. But no, it's funny.
And then, so the one thing I really didn't like about this movie, I would say, is Sigourney Weaver and Zeb Aurelius, Garazeb Aurelius did not get hardly anything to do. You
Yeah.
know? Like, come on.
That's my other.
Yeah,
Give
yeah.
us these give us these amazing actors. You know, it's Steve Bloom coming back to be Zeb as well. So it's like we need these guys to be doing something. Like it's like in Boba Fett or in the Mando show or whatever, when Zeb just showed up at the end, I was kind of like, whoa, that's like looks like a $10 million like 3D render. Cool, we're gonna see a lot of this guy. And then it's like, oh.
Yeah.
I mean, his fight scenes were cool. He got
Yeah.
he had the bow rifle out, using like the electro staff configuration. It can also turn into a gun. That thing's cool. It's
Yeah.
like,
I feel like his
love
movement
that
was
show.
like they nailed it. They nailed it,
Yeah.
like just like the Rebels. You know, like he moves very much like he moves in Rebels.
and then I another thing I liked was seeing Rada and Jabba's cousin fight. Like the bigger of
Oh,
the
they're
two
like
twins. When
bitch
those
slapping
guys were
each other.
fighting, I was like, I did not expect to see this. And like the bigger guy was also like throwing Rada around a bit, and then like, I don't know. It was like interesting because maybe it wasn't like the coolest fight in the movie or whatever, but it was just like very, very different. I liked to see that. And then the arena stuff, I mean, felt kind of cheesy. Was the other thing I didn't really like. I was like, oh, I didn't even realize it was the chess creatures
Oh,
until
the
like,
Jark.
dude, until he picked the one up and slammed it just
Oh,
like
yeah,
when
classic.
Chewbacca's playing the game. I was like, oh, that's Glub Shido right there. What the heck? That's
Nice.
Phil Tippett's stuff right there.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Phil Tippett.
Which is cool, but yeah, kind of like every single creature in that arena was from that game, so it's kind of like, ooh, maybe throwing like a Phantom Menace arena creature in there or something.
See, I don't know. I might disagree with you on that. I thought that was really cool that like we get to see. Like, I feel like you don't really know the grand scale of like the Djaric games because it's not really shown a lot. I liked seeing like what, like I guess ability each creature had. You know, I do get what you're saying too. Like maybe having something like grand like come in.
I just
like,
thought it was a little corny that it was all the same ones from that set, but
yeah, fair.
maybe the set's based on that. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Who knows?
Sarah, were you done, Percy? Did you have anything else?
Yeah, that's my rant. I think that's my rant. But yeah, the I would have gave it a higher rating if Zeb and Sigourney Weaver's character had more to do other than Hut 9/11 and that opening scene in the movie, basically, where Zeb was helping out, I guess, and then he flew him onto that planet where they play that song that everybody likes, and
No,
I'm not gonna talk about that song, so
sounds good.
you guys can continue.
Yeah, I will say I think I agree. Like, I don't think you bring that caliber of actor. I didn't really mind Zeb as much because I think like he'll be more prominent in Ahsoka, like with like kind of like the Rebels crew and stuff like that. And then whenever Dave, if they still plan on doing Dave's movie, I'm sure he'll be more prominent in that. So I was kind of okay with him being a little bit more of a background character, more like a driver, I guess, in this one, making sure he was like the evac driver. But yeah, with Sigourney, like I feel like you don't bring that level of actor and then just have her say like what she had like 4 lines the entire movie or something like that. Like it was something crazy. Like I get it. She's like she's like a, you know, commander or like a general or something like that. But like, I don't know, give her a little something more to do.
She's a colonel, and she said, I think, the same line twice as messy, very messy.
Yeah,
in the beginning and then at the end.
Yeah, and like she kind of does blow up some stuff
What a
in
throwback.
her X-wing a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. I think they could have given a little bit more, you know, because she has such a range and she's such a powerful, badass actor. Like I feel like she could have had like a little bit more. But enough of me ranting.
Sci-fi royalty.
I wanna hear what Sarah and Eric have to say. So Sarah, you take it away, and then Eric, you're gonna be next with how you felt about the just like the overall feeling of how you felt about like when you left the theater, how did that make you feel, you know, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun movie overall. It wasn't the most groundbreaking thing I've ever seen to come from a Star Wars project, and I expected that going into this movie. I kind of knew that this was going to be a cash grab movie, so my expectations and standards on it weren't as high as they probably were when I was going to see the sequel films at the time. So I enjoyed it for what it was. Is that a movie I'm probably going to watch over and over again? Probably not. I'll just go on to the next season and see how they kind of continue it from that standpoint. I'll go into the positives and then I'll go into the negatives. What I did love about the movie was the whole Grogu scene where he built like the Yoda hut.
Oh, the Dagobah hut. Yeah,
the Dagobah hut, and he was taking care of Mando, because I like that it showed that he's capable of taking care of himself. He's not just going to be like the damsel baby in distress where he has to be rescued every 5 seconds, kind of like how he was in season 2. So it was nice to see that he's capable of fighting and defending himself. And what did he do? Oh, and I love the Yoda staff that he grabbed.
Oh yeah, he's the definition of every young 8-year-old boy finding a cool stick in the forest or in a creek and being like, this is the best thing ever, you know. Like I feel like every, like, I mean girls too, but I feel like it's definitely associated with like young boys where we just find like sticks and it's like, oh man, that looks like a cool gun, or it looks like a lightsaber or something like that, you know. Gives that vibe.
I was built different in school. I'd see the stick and I'm like, this is a lightsaber.
Yeah, like I said, it can be both genders definitely do it, but I just feel like the stereotype is like the 8-year-old boy. For sure.
Absolutely. I was definitely the rare breed, I guess you can say.
The cool breed, you should say.
Exactly. I'm the cool girl.
Yeah. If you can't find a cool stick in the forest, are you really that cool? Like,
exactly.
This seems a little sus.
Everyone was playing with Barbies. I was pretending I had a lightsaber. Yeah, I loved that, and I loved the little Easter egg with the chess piece. It took me a second to catch on to it until, like Percy said, where I saw the creature do that exact stance, where it threw the other creature down. It's like, oh, that's Club Shadow. and and I will say the only gripe I had with that, and I promise, guys, I know everyone's going to sigh in a mile radius the second this comes out of my mouth. It reminded me so much of the arena when, in Jedi Fallen Order, when Cal has to fight all the creatures to get out from the Haxian brood, and I was like, no offense, we've kind of done this already, but in a video game version. But it's fine. It's fine.
There's an arena just like it in the Jango Fett Bounty Hunter game.
There
too.
is, right at the very beginning.
Too.
Yep.
That too.
That just it is in the games.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So
that's just my.
You're like, wait a second.
You're like, wait. No, yeah, that's what I was like. I know we've done this in other games too, not just Fallen Order, but now that you mention that, I'm like, yep, we've also seen this in there too.
Also, a little side tangent. Then Sarah, I want to hear you have to say the rest of what you have to say. Bro, it is so silly to me. I know this is a nitpick. It doesn't really have to do anything with like the grander scale of the movie, but like the fact that Din gets knocked out by that gas is so freaking silly to me. Like I know I'm being
Yes.
an ultimate Star Wars nerd here, but like they make it a
Pressurized helmet.
yeah, like he
It's
can
almost like
he
he
can
has a
stay in
helmet made of
space.
Beskar or something. I
Yeah,
don't know, it's
he can
weird.
literally like withstand like for a short while in space. Like Mandos have like the pressurized helmets and stuff, and they even make the sounds like when Bo-Katan takes her helmet off. You almost hear like this Darth Vader kind of like depressurizing when she takes it. Like, bro, you should have done like John. You literally created this freaking franchise. You know that like that's such a silly thing. I feel like they could have done so many different things. In order to like like even if it was just like a crap ton of guards showing up and then he doesn't want to like risk losing the hut, so he doesn't like actively engage in combat until the arena. I don't know, I do, Sarah, when you were bringing up all the arena stuff, I thought that was so freaking silly. I'm like, you could have thought of a million other ways. Have him get shot with a sleep dart or something. Like I don't know, like sleep paralysis or something. The gas method I thought was a little goofy. I know that'll go over most people's heads because like most people aren't as sweaty as us, but like I hate it when there's like little stuff like that like takes me out of the movie for a split second because I'm like I shouldn't have to be like actually his helmet actually dispels toxins, so he wouldn't be knocked out, he'd be fine. And then somehow Grogu is also fine, but with the same amount of toxins for like, he I guess he dips in time to not be affected by them. But he sits there and Mando's like, go, go. And he's like sitting there looking at Mando for like at least a solid 30 seconds as Mando's like falling to the ground. I'm like, maybe it doesn't affect his species. I don't freaking know. But yeah, sorry, little nitpick. Sarah, continue. I just wanted to bring that up.
Somehow Grogu survived.
Yes, somehow Grogu survived.
I don't get that reference made.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get attacked for that. But yeah, those were things I really liked about the films, and now we'll kind of go into the negatives. I'm like trying to. I just blanked. What was the first one I had? I'll go with the Huts. I'll go with the final fight with the Huts. I thought it was very silly how I understand for Rada because dude was shredded. So it makes sense why he could actually move and he wasn't just like a fat slug just consuming whatever he wanted over the years. So he actually had the physicality to move around and fight and defend himself. Whereas the others, I was just like, I felt like I was just watching two seals on the beach, belly flopping each other, which I have seen in real life, by the way.
So like this, literally like this the whole time.
literally. Oh my gosh. So that to me was a bit corny because I'm like, come on, you're telling me like these two slugs were sitting the entire film practically the same way Jabba was, and you're telling me now all of a sudden they're like, oh, I better move and do something because I have this sudden like urge to get up. Like,
hey, maybe they hit their daily cardio on Nal Hutta and do a little cardio spin. We don't know their daily workout routine.
I see the argument though. Like, why didn't Jabba suplex Leia when she was choking him?
100%.
I see the argument for sure.
Definitely.
Absolutely. So that was one nitpick I had with it where I was like, okay guys, come on, this is Rada, I get it, but for those two I'm like, this is stupid. But what was another one I had? I guess it would probably have to be in the snake den as well when Mando was in it. I was fine with it, but you could totally see the complete difference when Brendan Wayne was in the suit versus when Pedro was in the suit.
He's a lot slower.
And it just felt so clunky seeing him like struggle to fight this. It's like this is someone who's like he knows what he's doing. Like he's got these like John Wick.
Yeah, he literally is a weapon.
Moves.
Yeah.
And he's like struggling to go up against the snake, and I'm like, oh my god, this is reminding me of that one Indiana Jones level that you go through when you fight a giant snake at one point. It was literally the exact same thing. But it looked clunky and it looked funny, and Pedro, I'm sorry, he's just the voice, but he is not the Mandalorian. I'm sorry guys. It's just this is just my honest thoughts and this is how I feel.
I think a lot of people feel that way. Is like Brendan Wayne and Lateef Crowder. Like they're the ones that really carry the weight, and like that's why their names are right underneath Pedro. I don't know if that was a Lucasfilm thing, if Pedro said something, but whoever decided to put them right underneath, because I do think it's like it is a collective, like they are all three the Mandalorian, like Pedro with his voice for sure, and then Latif. I think Latif does all the hand-to-hand combat, and Brendan Wayne does more of like the rifle, the guns. I believe that's when I watched like the behind the scenes of like, I think it was like Mando 1 or 2. I think that's how they had established it. I'm sure they both do a little bit of both, the gun and fighting, but I think for the most part that's how it's separated. And it's
Brandon has told me that he mostly does the talking scenes with the helmet on, obviously, and he does
Gotcha.
like he does all
like the
any
swagger,
of the walking scenes,
yeah.
any of the like that kind of scenes, and then most of the fight scenes are Latif.
Okay, cool.
And I've heard there's another guy who's done a few things, but I gotta look into
stand-in
that,
when one of them
I
are
heard
not feeling
there
so
is,
good.
I don't know what he did, but I heard that there was a fourth guy
Okay.
somewhere.
We've got another one in the background somewhere, but
Yeah, he's not getting credited.
Exactly, he's not on the credits, guys. Justice for that
What
fourth
the
guy out
heck?
there, whoever it is. Flip the table. Overall, what I wanted from this movie was not given, for me at least. I was expecting to, because I didn't watch any interviews, I didn't watch as many trailers as probably a lot of other people had, because I just wanted to go in this movie totally blind and not know as much. Because when you know everything, like how Marvel movies just spoil everything in like 2 trailers, it's not fun.
Yeah.
So I was expecting to get more origins from Grogu, or at least get some kind of character development growth between him and Mando. And I feel like this movie overall was just a bunch of filler, and it easily could have been just a season 4. There was nothing in this film that, for me personally, justified it to be a film. That's why I say this was a cash grab film, and they just threw it out for the sake of throwing it out because they didn't have any other Star Wars projects to throw out as a film in time in this 7-year gap that they were thinking of. But if you told me that, like, oh, we would have had to wait 3 more years for another Star Wars film, I honestly would have totally been fine with waiting a decade versus trying to get something out 7 years later for the sake of throwing something out, for the sake of trying to appease the fans and get everybody back in the theaters again, just because it's the Star Wars brand, so it's Star Wars, everyone's going to see it. I thought we were going to get also a little glimpse of Luke in it. There was a lot of Luke theories going around where I was very on the fence, because I was like, I would honestly be very shocked if we saw him in here, and I said I highly doubt it. So I wasn't too surprised that he wasn't in it. But I definitely wanted more questions or more answers about Grogu, because I still feel like we're in the dark. Like he didn't even talk. I know that was another big theory that was going around, is that people were like, oh, he might talk for the first time, and that would kind of be huge. He won't just be making baby noises anymore. And I'm like, well, we're still with the mumbling goo goo gagas still.
Well, it's crazy to me too, because like I have coworkers who I like talked with, and like I honestly, like, I don't have kids, so like I don't really know a lot about like raising children, but she was like, she's like, the biggest problem for me was that, like, bringing up the talking thing, she was like, I have a 2-year-old and she talks all the time. Like, it might not be 100% like how we're talking right now, but like they're like, she can talk, and like here Grogu is, I know Grogu, his lifespan is different, but he's definitely at least 2, it being like 50.
He's still
no, but I'm saying, like, so he's 60 in his years, but in like average human years, like he's at least, I would say, like 5, right? Like,
well,
it's
Yoda
hard to
was
equate that.
training Jedi by the time he was 100, so there's gonna be there literally has to be a growth spurt somewhere.
Well, what if they're like,
here.
in Charlie, you'll pick up on this, what if they're like Saiyans, where they just like, they hit like a weird age and then they're
just not that badass.
I'm not saying, no, I'm saying not how
I know.
badass they
I
are.
saying.
I'm saying how like they age, the age thing.
Broly's only word nobody's gonna even get.
Oh no,
Even
I
talking
I
about.
pushed the
There
Saiyan
you
button
go.
on Charlie.
There you
Charlie's
go.
ready to pop off.
Broly could only say Kakarot, and he was an infant.
Yeah.
He had more
Yeah.
character development than goddamn Grogu does. My face is getting red. Please.
I
carry
know.
on.
Sorry, Sarah. Continue. I just wanted to add that in
Not
there of
Sandy,
like
go.
the him talking. Like it seems like he should be able to at least form a couple sentences, like, or even if it's like him saying like "this is the way" or something like that. Like I know that doesn't really
Yeah.
mean anything, but like it would be something. Like give us some sort of. I do feel like they did step it up with Grogu in this film, though. I will say that I felt like I was really nervous about it just being like Grogu antics, right? Like him stealing the food from Sigourney Weaver, or him being like cheeky and eating one of the frog eggs when he shouldn't, like like little stuff like that. And they really didn't do that in this movie, which I
Yeah.
thought was a really good move on their part, and him kind of like protecting Din, like you had mentioned earlier, really showing him kind of at least maturing a little bit. It wasn't exactly what we wanted to see, but it was something. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree. And I just wanted some kind of answers of like where his origins are from because we still don't know where he's from. We just know
Yeah.
he went through Order 66. He was rescued at one point, but we don't even know how he got there.
Yeah, we don't know what happened to
So,
Killerin or any of that. Like I don't know if like personally for me, I think I like Yoda and his species being a mystery. Like I like that in Star Wars, but I do agree there's a large gap in between Order 66 and where we find him in Mando that they could have kind of, I felt like, woven into like what you're saying, like woven into the story somehow to progress him a little further.
and I will say also too, since because this is a movie, I feel like the thing is with Star Wars movies, like they're a huge it's a bigger scale. It's not just like a show where it's like, okay, we're just having filler. That's what
Right.
we watch the shows for, and we watch 7 seasons of the Clone Wars for, to see that character development, to see where they're at by the time Revenge of the Sith comes. So for this, I just feel like if you're going to do a movie about the Mandalorian and Grogu, you better have some high stakes,
Yeah.
like how you were saying,
For
and
sure.
you better have some consequences, and not just plot armor where you just somehow miraculously survive something. That's why I was very curious during the swamp scene where that. I don't even know what that character's name was, but like the hillbilly swamp guy was
I
telling
don't know if it's
Grogu.
said.
I don't think he did, but he was basically telling Grogu, there comes a point where you have to say goodbye and let go. So I thought that was going to lead into something really major with him and Mando, where he was going to say, like, if Mando survived, well, I knew Din was going to survive, but I was waiting for it to get to a point where, like, if they got to, when they get back safely to the, oh my gosh, if I could talk, to the base, Din was kind of gonna go off and say either to Sigourney Weaver or Zeb, like, I know, like, I'm holding on to the kid selfishly for my own selfish reasons, but I know he has to go off on his own and do his thing because I won't be around to protect him forever.
Yeah.
Which is a gripe I had with, I guess, the Book of Boba Fett when they reunited them together, because that's what I loved about season 2 was that he went off with Luke. Luke was going to train him, and that was it. The mission was done, and now we're going to focus on Din and the adventures he's going to go on. So I love Grogu. Don't get me wrong. I mean, as there's literally a Grogu plushie next to me. I love it. I just feel like things have just kind of been a cash grab lately, and it's, the quality versus quantity argument. So I'll wrap this up so everyone else can say their piece, but I just feel like it didn't like hinder my overall like love for Star Wars. It's just kind of one of those things where I'm like, okay, I'll just move on,
Yeah.
like I'm not gonna go on a ranting tangent where I'm like, oh my God, this movie sucks, and if you loved it, you're totally wrong. Like, like if you loved it, great for you. I'm happy for you that you really genuinely enjoyed this movie, but for me personally, it's just kind of one of those things where I'll just skip it.
Yeah. Well, I
But
think too, like a lot of people that like, I felt like really obsessed over this movie were like the people who like, which baffles me as like a lifelong Star Wars fan, but some people got into Star Wars from The Mandalorian. Like that was their starting point into Star Wars. And I feel like for those people, this movie was pretty big because that's kind of how they started, even if you're like a little kid or, you know, whoever you are. I feel like that's kind of where I've seen the really like people like overly loving it, you know, but I feel like a lot of people are kind of like where we're like in the middle of the road, you know, like it's not awful, it's not great, it's just somewhere kind of like in between, like in kind of limbo.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just feel like it has to come to a point where there's some serious consequences that happen to both Mando and Grogu. Like I don't
Or a time jump or something.
Like there has to be a time jump in the next season at least. And I want to see. That's why I loved some of the more serious Star Wars stories like Andor, Rogue One, and even the Jedi games because there were serious consequences.
Yeah,
for
sure.
the actions that they did.
Yeah, the stakes
And
were high. Yeah.
the stakes were extremely high, and you felt those emotional moments when someone died, or everybody died, or they lost. Because that's the reality of a lot of things, you know, we may, you know, of just everyday life, you know, obviously we don't live with lightsabers and blasters, but
I mean, I do. I don't know what you're talking about. I got the Lego lightsaber. I got the...
Sarah, what's wrong with you? Me and Max literally have these.
What were you saying about not living with lightsabers and blasters? I don't know if I got that memo.
Come on, Sarah.
I'm literally stressing. I found it.
Hey, let's go. Nice. A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. Yeah, we don't live with like blasters and lightsabers. Nah, that's not Star Wars fans. Nah, not us. Not us.
No.
Sorry, as I derail. Sorry, Sarah. You can continue.
I helped with that derailing.
No, you're good. Long story short, just something has to happen where there's huge growth, there's huge character development, and there's bigger consequences than them just kind of just making it out in the nick of time.
Yeah.
You know, like I want to see some consequences
For sure.
for the next progression of their story. And I will say my piece on there. Sorry, Eric, take it away.
I know Eric's like, I haven't talked in 75 years. I need to voice my opinion. Sorry, we'll have you go first, and like whenever the next round is, I'll have you go first, so you can have your because I feel like that's what happened last time. You were also last on like the Discord bubbles. So you had to wait for everybody else. So we'll in the next round.
For the Galactic Racer round table.
Oh yeah.
I mean, honestly, it gives me a lot to think about. I like hearing everyone's like input, and then it gives me like, oh yeah, like I need to mention that, and then sometimes I don't remember, but it's like it kind of goes like that. But
for sure.
No, anyways, the things that I loved about the movie, for sure, because I have a New Republic pilot, which is Dave Filoni's. It's screen accurate to the TV show and the movie.
Oh yeah,
and,
I've seen it. It's awesome. It's killer.
Thank you. I love all the details with all the pilots, especially which I hope that I get to see an updated version of Trapper with the in between the New Republic and the Resistance era belt. So they have a leg harness that you see in the original trilogy, and even the clone pilots too wear the same thing. And I just really dig the straps on the side. To y'all, that's probably like, well, I don't really care about that, or I never noticed it. But when you start picking up like the like really small details, when you start building like costumes and that stuff, and even for like Mandalorians too, it's really cool to like nitpick everything and see like, oh, what's new. And because I watched the movie twice, and I also saw the movie as an early sneak peek preview for about 25-30 minutes earlier this month, so that was pretty cool. So I liked a lot of that. I really liked Zeb's character in the movie. I think he was definitely a spotlight, and same thing with Rhoda. That was voiced by Jeremy Allen White. The one thing I know I've seen him in, which I haven't seen it all the way through, is The Bear. And he's like one of the main characters in that show. That show is really good. If you've ever worked in the restaurant industry, I don't care how long, it's definitely worth the watch. It's really good. And even the other guy that's in the show, Eben Moss, who was in Andor season 1 for the buildup of the heist, and he's also the Thing in the Fantastic Four. I thought that
Oh,
was really
okay.
cool to like
Yeah.
see him and in there too. I know I'm kind of going off of a different side trail here, but what I'm
Nah,
getting
say
to
your
is,
piece, man.
I like the people that they brought in. I think Sigourney Weaver is really cool. I'm sure she's probably always wanted to be in a Star Wars project because, I mean, let's just face it, she's the queen of sci-fi. You can't take that away from her.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to see her. I was a little disappointed about not having enough of her in the movie and a little bit more of a background because she's a colonel in the New Republic. So you definitely have seen some stuff. So you must have been there for the rebellion too. And obviously she looks older than some of the younger pilots. But to keep going on the fact of the things that I liked, I did like some of the music style that they chose for the movie. Not all of it, but I did like it. So I'm excited to listen to some more of that, especially like when I do studying or and whatnot too.
Yeah, Shikari slaps when he's
back
like on
home.
that planet that Rhoda's on.
Yeah.
Like that intro Shikari
Yeah,
theme
yeah.
is nice.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to see all the like Easter eggs that they put in this movie. I know someone had mentioned about the Yoda hut thing. As soon as he started building that, I was like, this is pretty cool. Like, I totally get this
Dago
reference right here.
vibes.
And I actually thought that the hillbilly guy, I guess is what we're calling him, I thought that was actually Ahmed Best. But no, it's actually not Ahmed Best that
Oh.
voices him. It's if you ever watch Dune Part 1, the newer Dune movies, he's one of the Atreides.
Oh, really? Okay.
He's one of the Atreides, and it's that guy. I know, didn't really narrow it down. I have to look it up, but yeah, he voices him because I was under the impression I thought it was Ahmed Best because it sounded a lot like him too. I've also met him, and I know he's played 2 roles, obviously Jar Jar in the Clone Wars and live action, and of course he's played Keller and Beck. As far as I know, I think he's only had like 3 roles.
I think so.
So, but I like the scenery. It was interesting to see the palace where the huts lived at because
Hutta?
I don't know if y'all noticed this, but it was all organic, or it was mostly organic. That was kind of interesting too. It wasn't
place
made
was
out
gross.
of yeah. It was interesting to see that because I don't think we've seen that in a live action thing.
Well,
The other thing, and I was surprised that no one else mentioned this, and I'm a little disappointed about this, about y'all, but no one mentioned about the practical effects with all like the big robots and everything, and then of course like Grogu. I love that fact. They're bringing more in that factor into Star Wars too, including ships, and it just feels more like Star Wars rather than CGI. I know a lot of us grew up with the CGI era of Star Wars. And,
Oh, the puppetry is where
it
it's
has
at,
a
though,
special
man.
place too.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
the
where I was
puppetry and
starting to
everything was
get at
super
with,
cool.
like, getting away from the volume and more into like real effects and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I did want to say because I only talked about the negative of my review. I'll after you I'll talk about some of the stuff I actually did like, but since you mentioned now Hutta, Sarah, I know you'll get this because you played the Old Republic games, but it was really cool to see it in live action because the Old Republic, not Knights of the Old Republic, but the MMO, if you play as a bounty hunter, and I believe it's the Imperial agent, you both go to Nalhutta at some point, and it's very swampy, it's very organic, and it's cool to see, like, because that happens like 1,000 years plus before this goes down. But it was cool to see the organic, like you're talking about, the organic kind of, the vibe was still there, the swamp and all that stuff. I thought it was, for those who have played the Old Republic game, it was a really cool like nod to if you've ever experienced Nalhutta from like the bounty hunter perspective and stuff like that. But sorry, continue.
Oh no, you're good. The other thing that I obviously loved about the movie was like you guys had mentioned about the gladiator scene. That was pretty cool, and how that all like malfunctioned. Excuse me, and then like just seeing like the repercussions of what it takes to hold in these beasts, and then if something were to go wrong, and then there's
Jurassic Park.
consequences to it. Yeah, basically it was Jurassic Park, and that was really cool to see those creatures, because the only time we ever saw one of those creatures, as far as I know of, in live action, was in Book of Boba Fett. It was like one of the first few episodes where he's going through the desert before he runs into one of the Tuscan tribe that he gets saved by, and it's like the really big one. It's got like a club or something.
It's
I
multiple
think
arms.
It was the, yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's
think
the one he
isn't
kills,
that
right?
on that same like chess? Yeah. So it's like on the chess game. I call it the chess game. I know there's a certain
Jark.
name to it, but something like that. I mean, I couldn't tell you. But that was really cool to see all those creatures because obviously we see them in the first movie, I guess, depending on how you call it. But
Yeah.
episode 4, that was really cool to see all of them. And of course, I love the part when the New Republic shows up and saves Din Djarin. Grogu,
So anyway, I started blasting.
And yeah, that was super cool. And the funny thing was because when I saw the movie for the very first time in its entirety, so there were some of us that were dressed up and some people in fan shirts and stuff like that, and I came in as Trapper Wolf, and as soon as he popped up on screen in the bar when they brought in that ex-Imperial officer, everyone saw his like little part right there. Everyone was like, had like some kind of like, oh my gosh, like, oh, that's so cool. I was like, yes, that's what I want to hear. It's so cool to hear that.
Yeah, he's just
so that
mean
was,
mugging that Imperial. He's just like really mad looking.
Yeah, yeah, but like no, the audience in the theater, like they immediately picked up on who he was. They were all laughing as soon as they saw him on screen. No one else. And I thought that was a really cool nod right there. I don't know, maybe that was just me, but and then the other part was, of course, when they're attacking now Hutta on the New Republic with all the X-wings, and I was hoping, and we had 2 Y-wings. I was hoping that we were going to get the B-wing because
Yeah.
we just don't really see too much of it. But you know,
It would have been cool
obviously it serves its
laser
purpose.
slicing into the
There'll be more.
organics. Just wow.
Dude, that's all they would have needed. Like
Yeah.
you wouldn't have needed those. Well, probably keep 1 Y-wing and then maybe.
Yeah, bomber.
Yeah, yeah. But anyways, I thought that was all really cool to see all that, and then of course Dave Filoni showing back up on screen. Because honestly, I didn't think he was going to be in the movie because he's a pretty humble guy. But it was pretty cool to see him. But on the things that I don't like about the movie, I think all of y'all touched based on this one. I personally think it should have just been season 4. It just wasn't necessary. It wasn't fulfilling to me as a Star Wars movie. It had its moments. Such as like some of the fight scenes, but not every single one of them. But a few of them were pretty cool. I liked the intro with the Empire and that stuff, and I wanted more Empire. But you know, obviously that's not the way the story worked out because I was wondering in this movie when I was watching all the way through for the first time that we were going to see Giancarlo Esposito, which is Moff Gideon.
Dude, I was
like,
hoping
I wanted
so
to
bad.
see that, like,
same.
But we didn't get any of that other than kind of like in the beginning. But it didn't fulfill anything other than like, oh, he just got rid of another person that was, you know, the New Republic was trying to hunt down. Which that story makes sense, but I wanted more of that. I also felt like the antagonist of the story was very lackluster, in my opinion. When you have a good protagonist and a good story, what do you also have? You have to have a good antagonist. Yeah. If you have no good antagonists, your story's going to suck. Yeah. Period. You can look that up. Anyways,
read a book.
I did not care for the Hutts being the antagonist because we've already seen that before. They were very lackluster. Yeah, they fought Rhoda, you know, a little bit, but he could take them on his own because obviously he's a gladiator. I just didn't really care for them, and obviously, and I'm surprised no one mentioned about this, but Imbo being in there, I thought he was cool, but I get the part of the story, but I felt like he didn't really have much of a play in, like, dude, the guy's he's a pretty badass bounty hunter, especially if you watch the Clone Wars. Oh, yeah. And it was super cool to see him with his dog companion. I don't remember his dog's name, but that was really cool to see him in there. But I don't feel like they gave him enough in the movie, or maybe I'm just overthinking this when it comes to his character. But he just didn't really, I don't know. He got beat too easily because he beat Mando pretty easily. Yeah. But then when they fought each other again, like, he was pretty easily beatable. I'm like, well, then that kind of sucks. But, you know, he's more, I don't know what his attack styles are when it comes to bounty hunters in the Star Wars universe, because obviously every one of them have their own styles. Yeah. Obviously, like, he works really well when it's the nighttime and setting up traps and stuff like that too. And he's got his his little helmet shield thing that you probably it reminds me of Mortal Kombat whenever I see that. forgot the name of the character,
Wow.
but it's Kung Lao. Yeah, it reminds me of Kung Lao.
Yeah.
And of course, he can use that to like mobility and getting around and everything. But, anyways, I didn't feel like the several antagonists that we got in the story just really weren't that good, in my opinion. They were nothing fulfilling. They didn't, furthermore in the story of Din Djarin with Grogu, and also to end the movie too. Like it was just kind of like, here it is. All right, what's next? But like it just didn't seem like anything serious had happened,
Yeah.
other than they just got rid of the huts and now they have to deal with, well, what's next? Obviously, my guess would be it would have to be the Imperial Remnant, because why? Well, someone had mentioned about season 2 of Ahsoka that Thrawn is now back in their galaxy.
Yeah.
He's eventually going to have to show up at some point.
For sure.
Not in season 2 with the New Republic. I would imagine. Well, you'll see the New Republic in there in some aspect, but you think he should be in a future project such as like a second film or whatever it's going to be, like an Avengers style film,
Yeah.
which I think what they're going to do is kind of like their own version of was it
Heir to the Empire.
Dark Empire?
Or
No,
Dark
Heir to the Empire. Heir to the Empire, yeah. But obviously you can't do the original trilogy characters because some of them are no longer here, and also Disney did say that we're not doing anything related, primarily focused on a character from that time period because of how Solo flopped, and I also kind of blame certain things about their advertisement time of the year and stuff like that too. But
Yeah.
anyways, that's a different subject. But,
Yeah, it's a whole different subject.
I think Mando is going to team up with the Phoenix Squad, which is that Phoenix Squad is the Rebels squad
Yeah.
you see from the TV show, and eventually they're going to take on Thrawn and whomever else, and be curious to see how he's finally taken out, because obviously I think he's going to have to die eventually, because you don't see or hear or read
Yeah.
anything in regards about the sequel era. So I think his story will come to an end here pretty soon with Din Djarin showing up, and hopefully Boba Fett too. And the one thing, one last note I will say, I was a little disappointed about this. There weren't other Mandalorians in this show. I wanted to see more Mandos, because I swore.
Where's
I
Bo-Katan?
heard
Where's the
Katie's-
armor?
I heard Katie Sackhoff said that she was in the movie. She filmed in this movie, and I'm like, well, she never showed up.
It probably
And
just
that's
got
why I
cut.
was also
That's good, I
anticipating
guess.
Mandalorians being in there.
Yeah.
The real
Yeah, I
Mandalorian.
agree. Exactly.
Bo-Katan.
100%.
Also,
And
what's
I
up,
do-
Nick? Sorry, I wanted to say that real quick because he popped in and said hi.
Yep.
Appreciate you stopping in, man.
I do want to hop on the Embo comment real quick, because I agree. I feel like there wasn't enough of him in it, but I was so scared that they were gonna pull like a Book of Boba Fett where how
Cad Bane.
Cad Bane, like I thought they were
Oh.
I was like, they're just
Yep.
using him to kill him off, and I thought it was gonna be the exact same scenario for the Mandalorian film. So I was more, when he walked off, I took the biggest breath of sigh, and I was like, oh, thank God. So
So,
they didn't kill him
Yeah.
off, because I probably would have knocked this movie down to like a 4 out of 10 if they killed him. I would have been so upset if they did that. It would
I
have
was
been
sad because we know now that his
dog
first
passed away.
dog is dead for
Yeah.
sure. His
100%.
first dog is gone. He's got that black dog with a different name
it's
now.
like Moro or Moro.
He used to have a white
something.
and gray dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense though, because I mean, like, what the Clone Wars?
been a
Like,
while,
that's
but
like
come
almost
on.
40
They
years.
killed
Like
the
dogs
dog,
don't.
man. Why you gotta kill the dog? Like,
Well, it's like
why?
it's been like 40,
alien.
40 years
Mando
plus or
was told to
something like
shit, he would've
that.
gone full John Wick on him. Thank
Yeah,
God.
yeah. I think it
Fair
was
enough.
just. Who knows? It could have happened on a mission.
that
like,
was my only thought
there
on
was-
the Embo. I was like,
yeah.
that's a different dog.
Yeah.
I'm sad
What the
about
dog doing?
Yeah. Like, what the dog doing? Yeah, I kind of want to
His,
go. Go ahead.
It says his dog name is Merrick.
Merrick, yeah, okay.
M-A-R-R-O-K.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the original
That's-
one. He calls
Okay.
this one Kaibu or something. Or
Yeah,
Kuba.
Kaibo,
Yeah, yeah.
Kaibo or something like that.
That's interesting. His first dog's name is Merrick, and we have an Inquisitor named Merrick, spelled the exact same way.
The mid Inquisitor. No, I'm just kidding.
But no, I kind of wanted to, because I didn't really. You guys brought up a lot of good points, and I have like some notes here of like stuff that I really liked, and I kind of felt like I just talked about like how the movie made me feel, not really what I liked about it. So I want to kind of circle back in and
The
kinda-
Azalians. We forgot about the Azalians.
yeah, I
or
have
whatever.
Oh, yeah.
you know.
I was
you know-
hoping someone would bring that up. I totally.
I will.
forgot.
I will right now. Okay, so the
Oh.
Hey,
when
101 good.
when they pull up in their speeder, 100% it's the same sound effects as the Jetsons speeders from like the old Boomerang. It literally has the same like brrrr, like go play that sound effect and then go watch the Jetsons. Like it's their hovercrafts are the exact same thing, and I haven't seen anybody said that that's maybe I'm dating myself because I watched the Jetsons as a kid and I watched Boomerang.
no.
But no, literally straight up, their like little speeder that they pull up on to like help fix Mando's new Razor Crest it's the exact same sound effect. I guarantee you they took that from an archive somewhere and like had that be the Jetsons. Another one, kind of going back to the very beginning of the movie, I love the snow troopers without the front mask on. How it's just like a gray kind of like visor that clicks in, or like breathing apparatus. I thought that was cool.
That's a Ralph McQuarrie concept art right there for the Snowtroopers,
For
which
sure.
I really like that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are really incorporating that in the Mandoverse.
Definitely. However, with that being said, I liked how some of them had them on, some of them didn't. But I think they missed a real opportunity. I think those train troopers from Solo look sick. The snow troopers, they're like supposed to be like the Navy SEALs, or like the not Navy SEALs, like the Green Commandos of like freaking the Star Wars universe, how they're like super badass. And I think you could have put some of those in there. They had like the big, like they had the boots with the fur. The whole club was looking at them, you know, her, whatever.
I remember.
But no, I think they could have added that in there. I think that would have been a cool tie-in to Solo. Yeah, the Ranger Troopers would have been cool. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
now.
Range Troopers. Yeah.
Fur.
I wrote it down because I recognized the toy from the Kenner line from the 80s, but I didn't recognize what the ship was called. The one that the Imperial flies out of in the AT hangar, that's an INT-4 Interceptor, and I thought that was cool because that hadn't been in any of the I think it had been in some of the games, but it hasn't been
the
in
AT-AT shuttle, like the shuttle that came out of
Yeah,
it?
so that is the purpose of that is that's supposed to be a short-range scouter shuttle for the Imperial. So the AT-ATs could like basically disperse those, and those shuttles could go out and scout to see where the AT-ATs could go, and then they would come back in and dock. But they made that in the 80s for a Kenner line because they just needed more toy ideas and stuff like that. So I like that they added
they just
that
took
back
the
in.
head of an AT-AT and put wings on it.
100%.
That's what I like about it.
Some jet engines too.
Yeah, it was cool. And I did like, I thought the humor with Baby Yoda was actually pretty funny. Because, like, when he's, like, dinging din on the back of the helmet, he's like, bro, let's fucking, and he, like, looks back, and he's like, ding, 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 ding.
I need
Ding,
to
ding, ding,
take
ding.
the shot.
Yeah, I thought the comedy with Grogu wasn't forced, which I feel like Star Wars has really been struggling with the comedy aspect in the past, like, handful of, like, movies and TV shows. Like, it's supposed to be, like, yeah, it's supposed to be, like, sprinkled in. It's supposed to be funny, whereas it's not, like, forced, no pun intended. But I liked Grogu's kind of, like, and also, too, that the Percy, you were talking about Ralph McQuarrie, when he's, like, running on, like, the ATRT, there's, like, a shot of, like, what was supposed to be a tauntaun on Endor of, like, the rebel soldier kind of, like, weaving through the AT-ATs. And I thought that was cool that they kind of paid homage to that, like, a little bit too. I do think that scene was really fast paced. I feel like it was like they could have added a little bit more to the Imperial scene. I felt like it was just like it thrust you in there like so quick. There's no breaks, there's no nothing. You blink, he takes out everybody, and then the guy explodes and he's dead. He's like, oh yeah, it got messy. I'm like, dude, what? Like, I felt like it was a lot I felt like I kept kind of getting punched in the face. The action was great, but it was just like so much, so quick. I wish they would have slowed it down just a smidgen.
You didn't like the comedy from the Imperial commander saying like, you guys need to get on top, but we're pilots. I don't care.
Yeah.
And he just he takes him out and like he throws off the AT.
They die instantly.
Pilot.
I did think
like this guy can.
Yeah, him falling off the side of the cliff was kind of cool with the fire. I like the design of the AT-AT pilots. I thought they were like really cool. Like I love that like solid white design. I think that's cool. We already talked about the B-wing. I thought the B-Wing was really cool. Zeb's design was great. I'm really glad that they didn't give him the animated eyes. I think that would have been nightmare fuel. And scared a lot of little kids if he would have had, like, he still has yellow eyes, but they're like realistic. They're not like, like they're all glazed over, and I feel like I like the more realistic look for live action, and then the more stylized look for the animation. I thought that was good. Another thing that we didn't really talk about, which I feel like it's been dropped quite a bit, and like it gets dropped in Solo. I think it gets dropped in Mando or Boba Fett, but the droid Gatra and how they're like sentient droids who like think for themselves. Like, I love the designs of all those. You have like super battle droids, B1s, you have the commando droids, and then you have a whole bunch of other like just kind of Mod Podge ones like you see that are guarding the huts. Like those two kind of bulky ones, which honestly kind of remind me, now that I'm thinking about it, of the Force Unleashed 2, those like droids that had the flamethrowers and like I think it's like a knife or something like that, or a shield. It kind of gave me those kind of vibes with like the Force Unleashed. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like we've heard so much about the droid Gatra and gotten nothing from it. It's just like basically mentioned the names. Like, I thought like, yeah, I wasn't expecting much from them because they are battle droids going up against like an elite bounty hunter, so he should just
Cool
be able to kind
designs,
of
though.
yeah, but
And,
the designs are sick.
Did we get some of those droids in the Cal Kestis games? I was looking at them and I was like, I've seen these in the Cal Kestis games.
In the Cal Kestis games, they're just repurposed. They're not a part of the the droid Gatra. They're just
Right.
Sarah, what's the name of that the guild, the
Haxian Brood.
the Haxian Brood? Yeah, the Haxian Brood just kind of like reprogrammed them for their purposes. They're not like a part.
They weren't. Yeah, they weren't those huge, bulky, like. How do I even phrase this? Like, garbage disposal looking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where they just have a bunch of like armor on top of armor. They were kind of just reprogrammed, and they just enhanced them in the Cal Kestis games.
Yeah. So like I don't know. I felt like they were cool and they served their purpose. I felt like there could have been even more, because like I think like the big thing with like battle droids, and it's like kind of known throughout the galaxy, is like they are kind of pieces of crap, but there's so many of them. It's like they just overwhelm you with like crazy amounts, and I guess you do see quite a bit of them. But I felt like we could have even gotten even more. Like, just, like, more, like, even if it was duplicated droids behind, like, they could have really made it to where, like, oh, man, these guys are menacing. Like, it doesn't matter that they're shoddy. It's kind of like stormtroopers. They're, like, in a way, they're, like, they just, they overwhelm you with the amount
What
that they
about the
have.
Hut anti-air turrets not hitting? I don't think they hit a single X-wing.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought that was kind
But
of like.
I thought that was the droid Gatra, too.
You'd think the Huts would have some good defense, but
So,
they just kind of strolled right on up.
Yeah. Well, I thought that was also part. Maybe I misunderstood that. I thought that was also like the droids from the droid Gatra were manning those. So like I didn't expect, like, that's why I was like, they're shitty pilot, or they're shitty
Okay.
shots. But maybe you're right. Maybe
True.
maybe it
Yeah,
is the Huts.
tire out everything, and maybe
Yeah.
they're getting real cheap at this point.
Yeah. Well, I think too, it's like we don't really know how much power the twins have, but it seems like they're kind of struggling to hold on to like what Jabba had created. And I know he's not the only Hutt. There's like we see in Clone Wars, there's like a giant Hutt cartel where Hutt's
There's a Marlon Brando Hut.
Yeah. So
He's
it's
got a
like
slug. He wears
Oh,
a slug
God.
on his head
yeah.
because they can't grow hair, but they needed him to have slicked black hair
Yeah.
like Marlon Brando.
But
I mean,
but yeah, I don't know. I thought seeing the droid Gatra was kind of cool. The Razor Crest was cool. I liked the fact that they actually gave it like a valid reason. It was like, hey, here's a Razor Crest. I mean, it was kind of like, hey, here's a Razor Crest. But like, I like the fact that they, for me, like, I went to like a lot of, like, my dad was really into cars. So like I went to a lot of car shows and things like that when I was younger. So to me, it made perfect sense that like an X Imperial would have like a storage house of like really like rare vehicles and cars and ships and stuff like that. Speeders, not cars. So I felt like that was a really fine, and I like the fact that like it is the Razor Crest, but without any of like the benefits and like upgrades that Din has given it. So it's just like a vanilla, plain Jane Razor Crest, and I like that he was kind of working on it in the movie a little bit. I thought that was cool, because I feel like in Mando, that's the one thing I did like about Mando season 3 is I liked that he like was like basically souping up that hot rod with the N1 starfighter with Peli. I kind of liked that vibe, but what is Nick saying here?
I was waiting for it to blow up. I was
Dude.
waiting for them to
I would have been so
destroy
mad.
the ship.
I would have been so
Love
mad if
it.
either of those
The
ships blow
same
up.
thing in season 2 again, all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I
gets
feel, I
shot.
was like, I was
No,
just waiting for
why?
it. I was waiting for that gimmick. I was like, watch them be like, here's this beautiful ship, and
Well, because like there's no
Just
point. Like
ignore it.
at least in the season 2 when his ship blows up, that's like a major blow to him. Like it made sense for me to like. I mean, they could have not written it that way, but like it made sense. Like the stakes, like it gives him enough stakes because he struggles to get off the planet and stuff like that. He has to go with Boba Fett and stuff. So it's a major setback for Den, and also losing Grogu. But in this movie, there wasn't a point where I could have been like he could have lost the N1 or the Razor Crest, and it would have made sense. You know, maybe Embo blowing it up for sabotage, but even then, I'd be like, nah. But Nick says they made getting the new Razor Crest feel special for Den, which was nice, and I think I agree with that. I think it was they didn't need to make it a whole big thing.
what is
Oh,
that?
All right, freaking Percy's still on this freaking hut. Yeah, the freaking
What is
hut.
Man,
that?
really?
That's the hut
Only
from
hit
Clone
one
Wars
after
when
the
they
quarter,
all combine or whatever, when they have like the hut syndicate like all together.
His
I totally
his
forgot
name
about
is
that.
Marlowe.
Yeah, they gave him a
Gave
vibe.
And
But,
Zero the Hutt got killed by
remember-
his ex-girlfriend.
Oh yeah, Sly Schnoodles.
Snoodles.
Yeah,
Oh,
the snoot.
That's my favorite Star Wars fun fact.
The snoot
And
strikes
I'll
back.
Shut up. I'll shut up
No,
about it.
no, you're fine. It's funny, dude. Dude, the fact that we
Just
got
cracked me up. I think that's part of why I liked this movie.
Yeah. Well, honestly, why didn't we get any more huts? Like, I feel like that would have been cool if it was like even if we got a 2-second scene with a lot of those huts from the Clone Wars. Like, I feel like that would have been a cool Easter egg. I did want to talk about Embo a little bit because, like, I feel like, we didn't talk about him a lot. Personally, like, maybe I'm like, after hearing what you guys said, maybe I'm like in my own corner. I personally really liked what they did with Embo. Like,
No, I agree.
I was really concerned, kind of like Sarah, I was really concerned that they were just bringing in Clone Wars characters to kind of just like make up for the lack of content. And I really felt like both Rhoda and Embo had like, they served their purposes well. I like that Embo, to me at least, when I think Eric, you were talking about it, where you didn't really know like Embo's kind of fighting style, like his tactics and stuff like that. To me, Embo always was like a hunter. He's like a predator. You know, like he has like his hunting dog. He's like, it's very like prey, a predator and prey kind of tactics. We even see that when he's like attacking Mando. He comes in real quick and then dips as fast as he can because he knows he sets up traps for Mando. So he hops in. Also, Mando gets knocked out like a crap ton of times in this movie. I don't know if you guys realize that too. He
Yeah,
gets
I kept track.
he gets the
arena.
Grinch. No, the arena with the smoke. He gets zapped by Embo 2 times, I guess, because technically when he falls into the trap, and then when he's like trying to get the Anzellan from the dog, he gets zapped again, and then he gets knocked out from the dragon's poison. So this is not a movie for freaking Din to stay awake. He's snoozing the whole film.
Yeah.
But no, I liked the fact that it was very like Embo felt like a predator the entire movie. Like he was hunting, and even at the end, he was just like, oh well, like my contract's done. I've been paid. Like I'm not gonna risk my life saving these scumbag huts by this giant dragon, and also risk like killing my dog and killing myself. He's like, I'm out, you know. And I felt like the fight could have been maybe a little bit more like, seeing as it's like the final scene like between him and Din. I felt like they could have done maybe a little bit more. I think it's just kind of, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I feel like what really makes fight scenes pop in Star Wars are lightsabers. You know, and I'm not saying that you can't have a good fight scene without lightsabers. I'm just saying it does make it harder, I feel like. And I'm not saying it's possible. They definitely could have done it. But I felt like, yeah, that was a little lacking for him. That's really my only qualms with Embo is that, yeah, that last fight scene, like, it could have been a little bit more, you know. And then we go on to Rhoda, which I think, honestly, is my favorite part of the Mandalorian movie. Like, I loved the gladiator scene. I thought they really thought out how a Hutt would move. I thought his speed, like, he wasn't, like, the fastest thing out there, but the way that he moved was precise. Like, his little, like, barrel rolls that he does, and then when he squashes somebody, it kind of made me feel like it was in Smash Bros. King DDD has this move where he, like, runs at you, and then he just kind of, like, belly flops and gets you. It was kind of like that sort of vibe, but I really loved how, like, agile and quick he was. And then also his battle axes were kind of reminiscent of the Gamorrean guards, which I thought was kind of a cool callback. Because, like, you know, like, I feel like he makes such a big, no pun intended, stink about being, like, Jabba's son and, like, having to, like, step out of the shadow of, like, his dad, which I think he did say that a little too much. Like, I feel like in every other scene he was like, it's hard when your dad's Jabba the Hutt, you know? Like, I feel like he mentioned that quite a bit, but, like, I honestly felt like that was relatable. It's like kind of like stepping out of the shadow of, like, your parents and stuff like that. And I felt like Grogu was kind of trying to do the same, where Mando has this reputation and he has to end up taking care of him and kind of step up. Same thing with Rhoda. I felt like that family dynamic was actually an interesting part of the that Star Wars Mando movie. And then the Jarek set I thought was cool, because, like, I didn't really know what a lot of those are holographs. We don't really know what they're very hard to see when, like, they're playing it in A New Hope, or I know they pop up in them, and maybe they play in it in Solo, or I think they might play in Force Awakens or something like that, but it's still hard to see the characters. So I thought that was really cool. And then them breaking out of, like, the arena, and, like, that one dude, like, they don't eat that one dude, but, like, that one, like, chomper with a mouth, like, just, like, yeets the guy and, like, throws him, like, 50 feet. And I was like, oh man, like, it's intense. But no, I think that was probably one of my favorite parts of the movie. I'm a sucker for gladiators and, like, gladiator arena type stuff. So, like, I thought that, like, they really put some effort into, like, how a Hutt who has actually trained and can, like, kind of move, how he would move, I felt was very realistic, and in my opinion, of how, like, because, like, you're right, like, Sarah, I was talking about, like, oh, they basically just kind of, like, indulge and eat and just kind of, like, slither around a little bit. And even in the Clone Wars, like, they can't really do anything. So it was interesting to see the flip side of the coin of that. And I think that might be I wrote about, like, Mando and Grogu scene. I thought that was really cool of him kind of taking the cane and helping, man, like, the old protect the young and the young protect the old sort of vibe. I thought if they would have played into that a little bit more, I think they needed to play into that a little bit more. And I think not having the Hutts be the main thing, I think they should have done. I think, Eric, it was you. We were like, oh, I was expecting Moff Gideon, like, the entire time. I think it would have been a boss move to be like, oh, Moff Gideon's not dead. Like, Mando, you killed one of his clones, and that's why he kind of has this kind of lackluster ending, because, like, he was literally born yesterday. You know, like, he's not a full, like, Moff Gideon yet. And I would have loved to be like, oh, did we really get him, or did we not? Like, he has, like, multiple versions of himself out there. I did
not even, like, think about Moff Gideon at all.
And that's what I'm saying is like, I felt
I was like Thrawn, like, I made my girlfriend, like, we got all the way caught up on everything, and then we didn't have to watch anything. So
yeah. Well, I felt like
still fun. It was. We had a blast catching up on everything, though.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I felt like, honestly, I mean, maybe it's too much, and that's why they didn't do it. I would have loved to see Thrawn and Gideon butt heads. I feel like while Thrawn, I think, would definitely win, and he's more of a mastermind, I don't think Gideon is a slouch by any means. And I think him having clones of himself gives him an edge. Like, I kind of like how they do it. I'm pulling from another franchise, but I'm blanking on the name of the blue character that kind of looks like Thanos and Invincible. that he's the
Oh,
clone.
Mauler twins.
The Mauler twins, yes.
Baller twins.
I
yeah.
like that it's like, oh, you never know who's
R.I.P..
the actual
Yeah, right.
you never know who's the actual like brother, and then they clone each other so much that it kind of gets muddled. I kind of would like that, something like that, but with Gideon, and then I felt like that would have given so much more stakes because like I felt like they tried to kind of put the seal of approval of like, oh, it's done. Moff Gideon's done. Like season 3, like that we beat him, and then him coming back and being like, oh no, like you just beat a clone of a clone. Like that was just one batch out of like a 100 different storage houses he has. Like, you know, of like, because it could be like Palpatine. How Palpatine has. I also think that would have been an interesting plot point too. Is like, I know Luke, and that could have tied into Luke too. Luke is looking for all of Palpatine's like kind of like hidden bunkers spread out throughout the galaxy. Like, I even think that would have been a better plot for the Mando movie. And then you could have had like a Luke cameo with like maybe they crossed like, because that was great in Battlefront when, oh man, I'm blanking on the trooper that meets Luke.
That
Del
was
Meeko.
Del Meeko, yes. Del Meeko meets Luke. Like, I felt like that was a cool scene, and even though it was like a couple seconds, like you could have had that with Mando, where it's like that's all you see Luke. It's just like, oh, I'm here to grab this piece, bye, you know, and it would have given something. But yeah, I think that's all I really have, and just like, oh, my
Max. Go
my
on.
camera went out. You guys can still hear me though, right? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You're good now.
Don't
You're
know
good.
what happened. I just said surprise, gotcha. But no, I just felt like the ending. I think, I felt like the first half of the movie was actually pretty strong, up until like Mando decides to not like kind of bring in Rhoda, and I feel like the back half of the movie, it just felt like it was missing something. Like there was aspects of the stuff that I liked. I liked that he got his pulse rifle back, and it made sense because that was a droid. Somehow Gideon returned. I know, dude. I honestly, I'd be okay with it. Like I said, I'd be okay with it. I think the lack of Imperial stuff actually hurt this movie. And
Yes.
that they kind of just glazed over a lot of Imperial. Like the first Imperial dies within 30 seconds of the.
I wanted that guy to be more important. That first Imperial,
Yeah.
I was like, this seems like just some schlub who's like, you know, he's racketing all these people for protection, and that's it. He's just another gangster. He's hardly a remnant
Well-
Imperial warlord at all.
And I'm okay
what
with
I got
some of
by.
them. I'm okay with some of the Imperial remnants being like that, because you definitely have ones that like they just like seized a little power vacuum, but they're
It just felt
they're not
like he
shit.
was incompetent in that
Yeah.
way.
100%, 100%. But I think we would have been okay with him being incompetent if they would have had somebody like they say Coin is supposed to be like, oh, he sings like a canary, he like knows all the stuff. Like, well, give him more of a story. Give like, why does he know so much? Why can he like, why is he so important? Like, they make him be like, oh, he's the one that holds all the cards. Like, but they kind of glaze over what he knows or why he's important or what his role was in the Empire. Like, we could have like, he could have been like, maybe there was remnants of Gideon or something like that, and he knew where the remnants of Gideon were, like the cloning facilities, making sure that they cleaned up all their bases or something like that. You know, I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to write the story. I'm just saying that there was clear avenues that could have been picked, I feel like, other than what we got, because like the back half of the movie just feels like it just ends. You know, like there's no like direction of where they're going. Grogu's just
John Favreau projects do seem to kind of just end a lot of the
Yeah.
time. If you look at like Iron Man, the first Iron Man,
yeah,
I
fair.
am Iron Man. That's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And Tony Stark, or what's his name? He made that up. I don't think John Favreau even came up with that idea.
You're talking about
And
Robert
then-
Downey Jr.?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard that he came up with the I am Iron Man at the end, but maybe not. Anyways, and then the ending to this movie felt a lot like the ending to the Book of Boba Fett,
Yeah,
where
for
they're
sure.
all standing around at the end, just
Lackluster.
chilling. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
kind of what the ending felt like, very similar to Book of Boba Fett ending.
Yeah.
But
And
I
th-
didn't. I don't know.
And that's what
I
I'm
still
saying.
like the movie, but it's just like, yeah, pretty low stakes.
Yeah.
pretty-
Well, and that's how I kind of feel about it too. Is like I actually do enjoy the movie. Like I had fun watching it. It's just like, again, after 7 years, is this really what I want from a Star Wars movie? And my answer is no. Like, I want something grander. Like, it doesn't have to have lights. Like, that's the thing is, like, everybody's like, oh, well, you just want Luke, or you want Vader to show up, or you want, like, lightsaber. Like, no, like, you can skip all of that stuff and still make it. The universe is huge. Like, we could have seen, like I said, Bo-Katan. We could have seen any of the other bounty hunters. Like, I guarantee you half those bounty hunters are still alive. You know, we could have had more Imperial remnants. We could have, like, there's a million ways that they could have taken it. And yet they kind of just seemed like it was a fun action adventure. And I think this movie would have been perceived differently if it would have came out right after season 2. And then you wouldn't have... You've had half the movie be Grogu training with Luke. And then half the movie is Mando doing basically what he does in this movie by himself. And then maybe at the end of the movie they come together. I think that would have been a much better received thing. I just feel like after kind of like... If you like season 3, great. Like, I'm not trying to crap on you for liking season 3, but season 3 was glip glop all over the place, kind of very messy. And after that, just having something that's okay doesn't. It just feels like they're struggling to capture what made Mandalorian season 1 and Mandalorian season 2 like magic. Like, it felt like it had an impact, you know. And I feel like they're really struggling. I don't know if it's they're not taking enough time. I don't know if Jon Favreau is just trying to like kind of like milk a cash cow, kind of like what Sarah was saying. It feels like a cash grab. I don't know. I'm not behind the scenes, but I know something is not smelling right, so to speak, you know. But that's all the notes I had. I don't know if any of you guys had anything else, but we can, if you do, speak now, and then if not, we can wrap it up.
I was gonna say one thing because y'all had mentioned about the N1 Naboo starfighter, and if you guys had watched the video with all these content creators for Star Wars that went to the behind-the-scenes stuff before the movie came out, for Mando and Grogu, someone had asked in there to Jon Favreau about Cobb Vanth, and he basically, without him saying like yes, but he basically said he's still alive. And I was thinking when I saw the N1, because he's being rebuilt back, I could see him teaming up with Din and using the N1 starfighter while Din's using his new Razor Crest.
That'd be cool. I could get behind that.
Yeah. So.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I hope we see Cobb Vanth. Like, that'd be cool.
I hope so too, and I was, it's kind of disappointing to not see Tamara. Well,
of course,
it makes sense. It makes sense for this project though, for what they did with the approach, but because I know he was pretty disappointed about not being in the movie, but like I said, like I swore I thought I heard Katie Sackhoff saying that she was going to be in the movie. She just finished filming in this movie, and I guess they must have cut her out for whatever the reason or the reasons were. So hopefully, if we get a season 4, which I feel like this was season 4, hopefully we get some more direction, because overall to me, just felt like you guys said, it was like a cash grab. It just felt like it could have just been another season rather than a movie.
Yeah. Nick says the N1 will be Grogu's first car. That would be absolute chaos, dude. You know how much damage Grogu would cause in that N1 starfighter? First off, he would blow himself up for sure, dude.
And that's the end of Grogu.
Yeah, he's like, yo, hit the thrusters. Hit the thrusters. Start this ship, and he's like shooting the rockets, and then he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it again, and shoots another rocket. Like, bro is going. What's that? Is it Navarro? Yeah, Navarro's not making it out alive. If he gets his hand on that N1 starfighter.
I was sad we didn't get a bigger Carl Weathers tribute.
Yeah,
that was another one that drove me.
I thought we were gonna get something on Navarro for sure. I know we got like that background thing with the fighting arena.
Yeah,
is like
Carl Weathers, like in memory of or something.
It's like an Apollo Creed reference on the wall.
What's like?
But no, I wanted like someone to talk about him or just
I think they will
anything when we were on Navarro.
They have to address like why he's not on Navarro or something like that. Like they'll do something. Or I heard a lot of people say like maybe giving him like a statue, like maybe he dies from like pirates off screen, and like they give him like a statue or like a commemorative like memorial in like Navarro or something.
Give him the statue like arms around with the IG
exactly something like that. I think that would be perfect. But even like at the end, like I don't know if they did something for like the behind the scenes, like maybe they're gonna do a behind the scenes thing, but like even like a in loving memory of like Carl Weathers or something like that, like on in the post credits or something like that, like I think would have been would have been fine. But yeah, who knows? Maybe they could have done something just as like a crew. Maybe they didn't want to like push it out too much. But who knows what happened? But I agree. I think something should have been at least like he should have been mentioned or something. So, but yeah, thank you guys for watching. We're sitting at about an hour and 40. I don't think it's humanly possible for us to do these roundtables in an hour. I've always wanted to see if we could like hit it at an hour, and it's always like an hour 30, an hour 44, or something like that.
Ranking of lightsabers and the weapons.
Oh, that was like 3 hours plus that I had to like knock down. Yeah, it was wild. But thank you guys for watching. I have everybody's social media links, all their Instagrams, YouTubes, you name it. Go follow all these amazing people and all the cool stuff that they do, because I think, I'm probably biased, but I think we all do some pretty cool stuff, and we all have some pretty awesome opinions about Star Wars, and we're all passionate. That's the thing. It's like we're not some of these, like Disney shill people or even grifters. Like we're just kind of people that are in the middle. I feel like like we're gonna give you our honest opinion, and that's genuinely what we mean. Like sometimes our opinions change about certain aspects of Star Wars, but we're coming from the heart. We're all, at the end of the day, we're all fans. We can see it in all of our rooms and stuff like that. We got the merch, we got all this stuff. So give these people a follow. Go shout them out, everything, and like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one. As always, may the force be with you. Peace out.